I met a gypsy.
What exactly was the advice going through the whoops? Because I feel like the technique has changed a lot in the last couple of years.
So when I was skimming the whoops, I didn't have my knees back far enough. So I always like I watched Jett hit the whoops, and I always try to watch footage of like the best guys in the whoops and try to figure out what to do. So I was skimming the whoops, and I was like standing with my chin like over the bar, like kind of how he does, but my knees were not back enough like him. Like if you watch him go through the whoops, he almost looks like he's like a jockey on a horse. Yeah. Like you just everything's going on underneath of you. And my knees were a bit too far forward. So that's pretty much all it was.
Dude, it's crazy.
But it made a huge difference.
Man, so I'm a full technique nerd. I just fully froth it. But I watched, there was a video that came out when Chase went from 250 to 450 on HRC. And there was just like a video that someone posted. I can't remember who it was, but it was like Chase Sexton rides 450 for the first time. And dude, it fucking blew my mind, just technique wise. And I watched that video. I was like, I'm going to figure out what he's doing different. And so I watched that video like 50 times, and I watched it within like the slowest that it'd go on YouTube. And basically from that video, I figured out like, you know, you've got your foot and it's got the front arch. So like the top. Yeah. That his kneecap is never in front of the front arch of his foot. Okay. That's like the heuristic that I then.
So what I said was basically.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the new technique basically.
So, yeah. So another thing he said was I was, like I said, I was too far forward, but like I watched a video with Jett and he's like, yeah, you always want to, Jesus Christ, what the fuck am I saying here? So the guy said, you want to lean back, but you still want to have your head over the bars.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It didn't make sense to me at first. Then I did it a few times, and it was like, okay, that totally makes sense because you want more weight towards the back of the bike so you can kind of dig into the whoop and kind of pull yourself forward. So I was standing too far forward, and I was kind of losing power because I wasn't.
And the back would be and then it doesn't drive because it lifts off the back of the whoop. Yeah.
So when you got like a Still-O-Me in the whoops, like it looked good, but I didn't have my butt back far enough. Apparently that was the issue. Yeah, it was a world of difference for sure.
Oh man, it completely changed my riding.
Really?
When I started doing so, the position like. I'll show you after, like how I think about it. Fuck, showing do the qualifiers. I realize I sound like a dickhead. Nah. But I would think about basically like, so if you get on your toes you just sit down right in a straight line, put your butt, like your chin over the bar pad basically. Yeah. And then literally just keep your head in the same position where you're seated, but then press your ass back as far as you can go and use your feet to feel like you're pushing yourself off the rear of the motorcycle. Yeah. That's basically like the position to go from sitting to standing. It's literally the exact, like your head actually shouldn't move. So that's like the thing that I always try and do when I ride is like I'll come out of a turn and then I'll just literally like throw my ass back and just try and imagine that my head is staying in the exact same spot. And then the other thing I think that helps massive is like pointing your chest. Like if you look at Jett's posture.
Yeah. And Hunter. And Hunter might be better than Jett at that actually.
Just perfect, like straight up and down, neck back, you know, like that. But they have good posture when they stand. I don't know if you've ever watched Eli Tomac at a press conference. Bro, motherfucker is just like military.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like that posture translates into your riding. So if you've got like just shitty posture in your daily life, which I like kind of do.
I do too.
It's just going to fucking translate, you know? So they fully just train the exact posture. But yeah, I think it's like that chest out and then shoulders back. So it's like, you know, if you're doing like a row at the gym, you're trying to like pinch your shoulder blade, those muscles in your rhomboids or whatever they're called.
That's exactly how
that's literally what you got to do. So it's like when you're riding, if you're like pinching your scapulars back together and having your head over the front, you can't, like, there's just these little like body cues that if you do those things while you ride, like you'll end up being in the right position. Yeah. Because that's fucking all motocross is. It's having the right bike position on the track and a body position that matches the bike position.
Yeah.
And like when you were explaining the like shooting your ass back or whatever, like if you're standing up, because I do the exact same thing. So when I see pictures of me riding shit, my knees will be like a little bit forward of the front arch of my foot, and I'll be up quite high, right? So what that does, it puts your center of gravity higher. So like you've got a bike that has its center of gravity, and the best handling bikes have a low center of gravity, right? And then if you have something with a high center of gravity on top of something with a low center of gravity, it's like so much easier for like everything gets exaggerated.
Yeah.
So when the weight goes this way, it's such a massive counterforce. So when you actually, what Jett and Chase and those guys are doing, they're actually bringing their center of gravity closer to the center of gravity of the motorcycle. And then any movement you have forward, back, left or right, it doesn't have the same amount of impact on the motorcycle center of gravity. And so basically how I think about riding now is just two center of gravities lining themselves up as best they can with as minimal output as possible on either end. So if you're up here, you've got to make these huge swings around to actually impact the center of gravity of the motorcycle. So it's like, it really is it's a scientific game, but it's also like quite a simple game in a sense too. Is like get your center of gravity as low as possible, and like you're just dispersing the weight. Like think about when your head's here and your ass is back here and your chest is low to the seat.
Yeah. You're
like dispersing the weight evenly over the motorcycle.
Yep.
And now you just take that weight up more. It's just physics.
It makes sense. They make it look so easy.
It's crazy.
Man, dude, it's so not that easy.
The time that those motherfuckers
to do that naturally.
Just to, yeah.
Fuck,
blows me away, dude.
God, dude. Those little fuckers are good, man.
Yeah. But it's cool that you were able to make progress and make strides throughout the season.
That is something I try to do a lot. Like, I do pride myself. I feel like I have fairly decent like riding technique and form. I try to ride like effortless almost in a way and not try to, I don't know. Yeah, like effortlessly, I guess, in a way. Just trying to make sure my technique is good and not trying to ride over my head. And yeah, it's working. It's working for me, I guess.
What's the best race you've ever had?
Oh, shit. Like as a pro?
Yeah.
Nashville this year was pretty good. Salt Lake 2021, I got a 7th in a 250 main.
That's sick.
The series was kind of a bit easy at that time, but I got lapped on like the last lap, which was really good for me. Which still sucks to say, but man.
Nah, dude, it's a 50. Like, that's actually impressive.
Yeah. I had a good ride there, man. I was just got a good start and just kind of rode my pace up there and rode good. But Nashville this year was actually really good too. I got not a good start in the 450 main, but I kind of just rode my pace and ended up getting together with Cade. I think Cade was having an off night, and we kind of bumped each other in an off-camber corner and got stuck together for like 25 seconds, at least 25 seconds, about a half a lap down at that point, and ended up somehow coming back to 15th that night.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like sometimes you just have those races that you just feel like you can ride forever. And I just started kind of picking guys off there towards the end and actually ended up in the race pretty close to like 13th there towards the end. But had that little altercation, but man, it was a good night.
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.